Hello, my name is Anjani Siegrist, and here is Nahko's astrology chart. So what we're looking at here is a representation of the Earth, this X being you on Earth the moment you were born. And here are the placement of the planets at that moment. So the idea is that we are a living, walking embodiment of this one snapshot in time. And there's all this information here for us to be able to relate with the sky teachings. So we're really comfortable at this point with relating with the earth and each other on the earth somewhat. And now looking at the relationship with the sky. So we inform the mysteries as much as the mysteries inform us. This map can give us a really, really good marching orders. What is it that I'm here to do? Where have I come from? Where am I going? And what are my tools that I have access to? And what time is it? What timing am I in within the collective timing? So we're going to look at a little bit of all of that, and starting off with first calling in sacred space. So wherever you are in time and space, bringing all of your awareness into the center, literally gathering up your energy, pulling it in, connecting above and below, drawing that energy in, breathing in all of your awareness to this now moment. Also giving thanks to our ancestors, all of your particular ancestors that live in your DNA, in your cells, pumping through your blood. Also the collective ancestors who have given us this wisdom of astrology to understand more about ourselves within this big picture. And I like to call in my higher self, your higher self, and any of our guides, light beings, star beings, any information, knowledge, wisdom keepers that want to be here to bring this information through in a way that is helpful, useful, beneficial, and joyful to me, you, and whoever is watching this video. So we start with the reading by looking at the lineage, and I am so grateful that you gave me the time of your birth, because now we have a better idea of your lineage. So for lineage, we look at the moon and the south node house position. So as I mentioned before, south node is with Pluto, and that's for everybody born in the same particular time as you. So south node is where we've been. Having Pluto on the south node says that where you've been you've been in the underworld. You're bringing those teachings from Pluto. Pluto is like Osiris. If you know the story of Osiris, he was dismembered and torn apart, and somebody had to come in and remember him back together. So that's like Pluto. Pluto's also like Pele, who comes and lavas everything, explodes and covers everything in lava, and then something new is able to be created from that destruction. Also like Shiva, the destroyer. So you get it, that's Pluto. Let's look at your particular lineage and connection. So the fifth house is like Leo. So I would call this the Leo job in the Sagittarius tribe, because you have a Sagittarius moon. So first, Sagittarius moon says that your particular lineage, say like the tribe that you came from, is all about evolution of consciousness. Being on a quest and a mission for evolution. And this is where you've come from. So just by virtue of being born, you have this natural tendency to want big change, evolution, moving things into an expanded state of awareness. And then Leo So the 5th house in Leo, this is the Leo job in the Sagittarius tribe. So within that tribe of questers, the ones who are on a quest, voyagers, your particular specialty within this tribe of voyagers is the king, royalty, the one who when you walk in the room everybody looks, because this is like the peacock, the really attractive, good looking one who um, has that self-love and radiance of self. So that's the lineage. And then pulling in also that you have Pluto on the south node, that brings this essence of depth, intensity, passion, wanting to tell the secrets and have that underbelly being exposed, or that underworld essence being exposed and brought to light, the light of the Sagittarius moon. That particular piece alone, your south node with Pluto and the moon, I could talk about it for another at least a good 10 minutes, getting deeper into the house position and where, but I'm going to move on because I really want to there's so much juicy stuff in here I want to share with you. So that's the south node. The next thing is, where are we going? The south node is where you've been, what you've mastered just by virtue of being born. These are skills that you already have. Now, looking at where you're going, what you're here to do. This is something that we have our whole entire lives to work on, to be with, something that keeps coming up over and over, and we're not comfortable with it, but it is ours to do. For you, you have Cancer rising. This was really, really surprising to me. I was feeling more of the Capricorn. And the other thing that's surprising is that it's the exact same position as my moon. The moon being what I've already mastered, what I came in being a master of, is the exact same position that you're here to learn about. So I found that very, I love that. A lot of my good friends have Cancer rising, and I feel like we come together in that kind of situation. Somebody is already mastered what you're here to learn about, and you've already mastered what somebody else is here to learn about. So Cancer rising, this is like signing up for University of Cancer. So let's explore a little bit what Cancer is here to do, what Cancer is all about. So Cancer is the realm of home and family, and a safe place for children to grow up in. And this is not just about the children, it's about your projects, your progeny, what it is that you are birthing. So the quick answer for Cancer rising is that you're here to be a good parent. But the bigger answer is learning how to nurture what is young and growing. The seeds that you plant, whether it's your project, your music, your poetry, or an actual child, or all of the children. Something that I was just talking about today with, my Cancer moon. The moon is our habits, our addictions, our patterns. And I was mentioning how, I love all the children. When I go somewhere and there's kids, I instantly go to the kids, and I love to teach them things. And, if I'm in another country, we're playing games to, practice, just connecting. I love to connect with children. So having this as your rising sign is like learning to be the master of nurturing what is young and growing. What is it that the seeds that you're planting, that you will be cultivating and taking care of? Cancer rising, and then North Node in the 11th house. So this is, guess what? Aquarius job in the Cancer tribe. So the sign that it's in is Taurus, and I mentioned this in the first reading that I did. The sign will be the same for the entire year. The house position is changing because every 4 minutes, it's about 4 minutes, it changes a degree. So this is really specific to your particular thing. You know, what is it that you are here to learn about? South Node, where we've been, what we've already mastered, what our skill set is, our habits, patterns, addictions. North Node, where we're going. This is where we find the growth edge, the North Node and the rising sign. So this is not like something that's supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. So just to give an example, my moon and my south node is the Aquarius job in the Cancer tribe. This is what I've already mastered. And I've been doing body work and healing and all this stuff, like loving people into health, just loving them, nurturing them. This is what I'm really good at. This is my habits, patterns, addictions. And now I have Taurus rising, Leo job in the Taurus tribe, and it makes me feel so uncomfortable to receive good things. And the Leo, you know, I don't want to be on center stage. Like starting this YouTube channel was a big deal for me because I don't want people to see me. So this is where my growth edge is. It's something that's uncomfortable for me, and I have my entire life to work it out. And every time these opportunities show up for me, I say yes, even though I'm uncomfortable. I met somebody at the farmer's market last week who wanted to, you know, he bought jewelry from me for his girlfriend and wanted to give me a massage. And I'm just like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. But it's super awkward to receive because Taurus rising. So for you, Cancer is, you know, when you get an opportunity to nurture something, to take care of somebody else. Coming from a Sagittarius moon, this is not considered an easy task because the Sagittarius moon wants to keep going. Tell me what else. Let me learn. Show me where to go. I want to grow. I want to expand. I want to also expand you. I want to teach you. It's all about that, the fire and the quickness of where can we go? What else can we explore? And now you're being asked to sit down, hold the baby, feed the baby, you know, plant the trees, grow the garden, be still, be in the dirt of the goddess, of the Mother Earth. And it can be challenging. So some of the other things on this chart are going to help to make sense of, help you to understand how and in which ways you're given tools. We all are given tools of how to meet the task of learning our rising sign. So the rising sign in the North Node, super, super important. Aquarius job, because you have this, I feel like you're really, really adept with Aquarius, and we're going to get into this in just a minute. So I'm not talking too much about this except for where you've been. Leo, habits, patterns, addictions. I heard you say in a lyric, one of your lyrics was something about the fantasies of grandiosity. So that's a Leo habit, is, you know, really feeling like good about yourself and being full of yourself. And this is not bad. It's really a blessing and a gift to feel so full of yourself. That's a Leo gift. And we think about it as a bad thing, but it's not. So that's your gift, what you've mastered. Now we're learning how to, you know, from this really, really drawn in, pinpointed focus on ourself. Now we're learning how to expand out into the collective and how to bring that self-love and self-worth all the way out into the cosmos. So it's larger than life, way bigger than just me. Okay, so now let's look at the relationship axis. The relationship axis answers the question, why on earth would I ever want to be in a relationship with a beloved? Cancer, Capricorn is all about building healthy homes. You'll know that you're in this relationship when it is feeding more people, feeding the next 7 generations, even making a safe place for children to grow up in. I'm not going to touch too much on that. I'm going to move on. So, the relationship axis. Now, let's look at your inner feminine and inner masculine. So, the inner masculine is, I think I talked about this in your last reading, so I won't stay too long on it, but I do need to touch on it. You have Mars in Sagittarius. This says that the way that you express yourself as a male in a man, a male body. The words feminine, masculine, female, male are so charged. People are getting really triggered off of, the different ways that we're using those wording. So, kind of being sensitive to that. Anyway, the way that you embody the God has to do with evolution of consciousness, teaching us. Also, you learning and teaching, learning, teaching, expanding, growing, evolving. We mix the Mars with the rising sign. So this is really interesting because this is the polarity of where you've been and where you're going. And when we mix Mars with Cancer, we have this Mars, Sagittarius, evolution of consciousness, planting seeds, growing roots, nurturing and feeding children, your progeny, your projects. So this combination of Sagittarius Cancer is the way that you are emerging as your unique form of the God. Now looking at your inner feminine, what is your inner goddess? The way that the feminine, the goddess is emerging from you. You have Venus in Aquarius, 18 degrees. We take that and combine it with what is descending, because over here, who am I? This is the mystery of who am I. Over here, who are you? And this is directly related to your beloved. What it is that you most wish to connect with in the other. I call this the inner lover, the inner beloved, and it will be a theme that repeats in our life of what we keep attracting, what we're attracted to. So Aquarius with Capricorn, when I read that earlier today, I was like, okay, so first of all, that being attracted to the stability of an actual parent, somebody who is already a mother, somebody who is already nursing the children, feeding the children, housing the children, giving a foundation for that next generation. Super attractive for you. And then the Venus in Aquarius combined with Capricorn gives this essence of the goddess who is foundational, who has her shit together, basically, because that's Capricorn. Capricorn really wants to have its shit together. And then Aquarius having this big picture cosmic perspective. You're able to talk to her. She will be able to go there with you to that bigger cosmic realm. She's also concerned with the collective. Aquarius is the collective. Aquarius represents the cosmic consciousness, the big picture perspective. So your form of the inner goddess, the way that the goddess is emerging as you, Aquarius, Capricorn. What normally happens is that we'll be attracted to the woman, the form of the goddess, on the outside, because this is what we want to bring into our life, not knowing that it is already you. So if you find that you are attracted to this archetype, this form of the feminine that is big picture perspective, foundational, this is actually what I was feeling about you on your chart. This is what I was feeling, the Capricorn and the Aquarius. So sometimes we are emanating that energy really big, and maybe that's what it is. So then if we are already embodying the descendant, most likely will be attracted to our rising sign. So that might be something to think about. You know, if you're already embodying that Capricorn, let's grow corn, let's feed the next 7 generations, you may be inching your way into embodying your rising sign. And with that, you may be attracted to women who are like what I mentioned earlier. Like when I see a group of kids, I want to go. It's instant. I don't even think about it. And I have kids, so I'm a mother. You might be attracted to women who are really, really embodying those Cancer or Cancerian traits of nurturing, feeding, empathy, caring, loving, compassion, all of those things. And either way, it doesn't matter. This is you. This is your expression. So what you're attracted to is you. The next thing I thought about when I was looking at this chart earlier today was that when you first meet somebody and you're like enamored with them and you're just like, oh my God, this is so, because it's like me. I like it because it's like me. Oh my God, this is so great. And then there's this phase that comes up with pretty much every relationship where, oh, but this. Everything is so perfect and great and I love you except for this thing. Oh, I don't really like this. With Aquarius and Capricorn as your inner beloved, some of those things might be she's too bossy. She's detached. I can't find her. She's not returning my calls. She is spaced out, because that's Aquarius, not returning the calls, being spaced out, being detached, emotionally void, like void of emotions, not really being present. That can be something that comes up. And as I'm saying this, it's an interesting polarity, because Capricorn will want to make you theirs and, really lock you in and be the boss and be the, telling you what to do. And then can also just disappear at times for, hours, days, sometimes weeks. Like, where did you go? What happened? And they're still completely there. It's just that expanded Aquarian mind that you have with Venus. So, all right, moving on, because I could talk about the relationship aspect of this all day. That's one of my favorite things to look at, but I'm going to move on. Let's see. Teachers. You have Chiron as your main teacher. Chiron, Pluto, and Saturn. Those, I would say, are the main teachers. Where to start? Okay, so here's your moon, here's Cancer, here's Mars, and here's Juno. They're all within 10 degrees. And to be more precise, Mars is 1 degree, the moon is 8, Saturn is 8, and Juno is 8. This is explicit and loud, saying that your mother-father marriage. Juno represents the way that we merge with another. This, just not breaking it down into such precise, just looking at the myth, looking at the storyline. Your marriage, who you choose. This is like the wounds of the mother and father. Not just the wounds, the blessings and the gifts also of the mother and father come in really strong in the relationship. So the things that you're working out in relationship to this moon being conjunct to Saturn, the mother and the father, opposite Chiron. I'll start with that. So Chiron is known as the wounded healer. Chiron shows us where our wounding is. And wherever there's a wound, the medicine is always right next to it. It's nearby, because the gift and the curse, they are together. Chiron is opposing exactly. Chiron is at 9 degrees and your moon and Saturn are at 8. It pretty much is exact. It's less than a degree apart. Saying that there is this initial wounding of the mother and father. And my instant thinking is like, okay, well, that's the wound. That's also the medicine. You're bringing in, first of all, learning how to mother and father yourself, learning how to be the parent of your own self, birthing yourself and parenting yourself. But first, there's this wound. And Juno here gives me the idea that your relationship, your marriage, your partnership with the beloved is, first of all, part of the wounding, and also is part of the medicine. So the words are escaping me a little bit, but in a basic sense, it's like when you are in a partnership with somebody, these basic wounds will come out. Most likely, these basic wounds will come out of the mother-father relationship. And maybe finding her as healing, as medicine, making you feel good. You know, the salve that comforts the wounds. And then, you know, her becoming part of the problem. It's like this going back and forth between making it feel better, making it feel worse. And also having your inner masculine at 1 degree Sagittarius. It's really close to this whole drama with the moon, Saturn, and Juno opposing Chiron. Your inner masculine is there too, far enough away, but still within a 10-degree orb, bringing that to part of the way that you express yourself as a man in a male body. So let's look at Chiron, because Chiron is one of your main teachers, and Chiron has to do with bringing the cut. And anytime we have a wound, Leonard Cohen in that song, The Crack, is where the light gets in. When I do my work with Chiron, what I feel and what I hear is that crack, that wound, that cut that we all have, abandonment, betrayal, loss, something that one of your lyrics that said that I wasn't abandoned, I was just left alone. That is so much like Chiron. I wasn't abandoned, I was just left alone. And that is one of the hardest things to ignore. You can't ignore that basic wounding of being left alone. But you weren't alone, because Chiron is your teacher. Chiron is one of your main teachers. Chiron is teaching us that where this wound is, that's where the light gets in, but this is also where our own light oozes out and merges with the infinite light. So this wound is where the light gets in and where our own light merges with the infinite light. So looking at that in context, to the fact that you have your moon and Saturn and Juno opposing Chiron. Each one of these things, let's start with the moon. So Chiron opposing the moon is going to bring an initial wounding with the mother. And when I see that, I think, okay, yes, there's this initial wounding, but there's also this medicine of learning how to be the mother. There's an initial wounding with the father, and the medicine is learning how to be the father. These two are close together, so you will never be without a mother and father because they are you. And Chiron is showing you the alchemy of the mother and the father and bringing this into your masculine essence. The way that you embody the God, the way that you project your will out into the world has this vibration of the mother and the father. And your partnership, who you choose to be with in relationship, is going to be part of this. They're not separate. They're connected, totally connected. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and I have more to read. So there's going to be a part 2 to this reading. Thank you so much. I appreciate, honor, give so much great thanks to you for everything, your words, your lyrics, your poetry, and for you showing up. Thank you so much. I look forward to connecting with you soon.